Hey y'all, what's good, what's poppin'? I'm so excited to come at y'all with this video today. Today we're gonna be doing a review, a first impressions, and a wear test on the new Fenty Beauty Eaze Drop Blurring Skin Tint. I had a lot of y'all asking if I was gonna do a review on this. Girl, you already know, especially when it comes to complexion products, I love Fenty. Everything that I tried from them, from their cream bronzers, to their powder bronzers, to their cream blush, to the powder foundation, has just been a hit for me. I love how they make me look and how they feel on my skin. And I think that Fenty Beauty in general is just such a good brand for makeup. I feel like it's not like one of those celebrity makeup brands where it just feels like a cash grab. Like, I feel like Rihanna actually is putting work and effort into these products. So every time Fenty Beauty releases a new product, especially a complexion product, I'm really excited to pick it up and try it out. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be doing a full review, demo, and wear test on this skin tint here for y'all today. So if y'all are interested in seeing that video, be sure to stick around till the end. We're going to go ahead and get into it. But before we get into the video, I do just want to say thank you to all my new and returning subscribers out there. Thank y'all for sticking around, supporting my content, and helping me to grow my channel. If you are new here and you haven't already, just be sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell button as well, so that you can get a notification every time I upload a new video. And with that being said, let's get into it. So y'all know the drill. Usually when I do product reviews, I like to do a little bit of an overview of the company first, if it's a little bit more indie or just a not very well-known cosmetics brand. But I'm pretty sure everyone knows who Fenty is. We all know Rihanna, I love her. So I don't want to get into the company too much, but obviously I do want to talk about the product information a little bit and why I'm specifically excited to try this out for y'all and why I think that this product's going to be a hit. So I have the information on the website page pulled up here, and I just want to talk about the product a little bit. So the little quick spark note summary that they give you is a blurring skin tint that delivers smooth, instantly blurred skin in just a few easy drops in 25 flexible shade options. So right off the bat, I was really interested in trying this out when they mentioned that it's supposed to be a blurring skin tint. I love the concept of a more lightweight foundation. Even though I am someone that has a little bit more problematic skin, I don't necessarily go for that perfect skin look. I do like my skin to look refined and refreshing, but I don't want to necessarily look washed out and completely covered up like I'm wearing a mask or anything like that. So I was really excited to see this product release because I do like to have the option of a more lightweight, flexible coverage foundation. And I'm really excited that Fenty Beauty has released a product like that, because in the past it seems that their complexion products have been more focused on medium to full coverage, which isn't bad, but like I said, it has a time and a place. The other complexion products that Rihanna's released have come in 50 shades. And this one comes in 25, which is half the normal amount of shades, but they're supposed to be flexible because it is a light to medium coverage foundation. Looking at the shade chart that it recommends, it says for shade 10, which is the one that I have, that's supposed to match people that use the foundation shades 255 or 270, and this is supposed to be medium with a warm yellow undertone. Now for me, in the powder foundation, which is the main complexion product from them that I wear, it says that 290 is compatible with the Eaze Drop shades 11, but it says for shade 11 that that's supposed to be medium with neutral undertones, and I believe 290 is supposed to be actually medium with warm undertones. So I went ahead and went with shade 10 because, like I said, this is supposed to be for medium with warm undertones, which is what 290, which is my normal shade, is intended for. And I don't really mind if it's not like a complete match, because I do generally wear other products on top like bronzer just to help warm up my face and define my features a little bit. So it's not a huge deal if it's not a complete 100% perfect match to my face, but I like it to be as close as possible. But I'll get more into it in the demo and the application, so I just wanted to touch on that. And then there's a little bit more of an in-depth description here. And so it says, the blur is real. Rihanna wanted to create a light coverage, easy to apply, flexible skin tint that instantly evens out your complexion and gives a flattered blur effect. Eaze Drop with hydrating quick blur complex is perfect for a no makeup look, or for when you want to look effortlessly put together, in 25 adaptable shade options for all. And then in the bullet points down below, it says instant blurring skin tint in 25 flexible shades, buildable light to medium long wear coverage with quick blur complex for a hydrating diffused effect, smooth texture that layers well with primer and skincare, applies well with finger or brush. And then it also claims to be humidity, sweat, and transfer resistant. So right off the bat, these claims shout out to me, especially someone with oily skin. I love the humidity, sweat, and transfer resistant claims that it's making, and I hope that it lives up to those claims. If so, this might just be my go-to product for summer when I want something a little bit more lightweight that's going to last me throughout the day. I'll get more into it in the demo, obviously, but I just think that it does a good job of filling in the pores and fine lines and everything without looking too makeup-like. It really does settle down to a nice skin-like finish, and it does feel very hydrating and comfortable on the face so far. Fenty Beauty is 100% cruelty-free. Love that. And then for the product itself, you get 1.08 fluid ounces of product in here, and it retails for $29.50. I just want to show you all the packaging up close. Look at that. Really love the shape and the geometry we've got going on here. Also, just looking at the ingredients list, not that it made any claims as far as skincare benefits or anything like that, but I am just an ingredient hoe. I do like to read through the ingredients list so I have an idea of what's going on here. We do have sodium hyaluronate in here, which is a form of hyaluronic acid, which helps to draw moisture into the skin. It serves as a humectant, so it's going to help with giving a nice moisturizing feeling on the skin. It's really going to help to to also smooth out fine lines and wrinkles because as it draws moisture into the skin, it really helps with plumping up the appearance of those. We've also got glycerin in here, which again is another one of those humectant ingredients that helps to hydrate and smooth the skin out. It does feel very comfortable applying on. It feels watery, but not in a runny way. It just feels like a moisturizer and it sets down with a weightless feel, and I don't feel like I'm wearing any additional product on top. So I just want to show you on my arm. I did go ahead and do a swatch and blend it out a little bit, but I didn't blend it out completely just so that y'all have an idea of what the shade and the undertone is. So this is what shade 10 looks like. Now obviously I would never wear it that heavy on my face, and I don't think anyone would. It might look a little warm or yellow compared to my skin tone, but once I work it in, it matches my skin almost exactly. So that's really all I have to say about the product description and info. Like I said, this product really screamed out to me just from the description as far as the skin blurring effect and the humidity, sweat, and transfer resistance claims that it makes, and the fact that it's supposed to be a long wearing formula while also being a lightweight coverage. All that makes me really excited to try it out. I love to have the option to have a more flexible coverage foundation. So I'm done rambling now. I'm gonna go ahead and get into the demo, application, first impressions, and then once I'm done all that, we'll go ahead and finish off the video with a wear test. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into that now. All right, y'all, I'm beyond excited to get into this review and demo. I am so ready to go ahead and apply the product. This is actually my first time applying it to a full face, so this is gonna be like a whole review and first impressions. I was really excited to get this, but I did manage to have a little bit of self-control and not use the product before I went ahead and filmed this review, so y'all are gonna have my raw thoughts and opinions on it in real time. But before I get into it though, y'all know the drill. I do have to go over my off-camera skincare routine real quick. I don't really like applying too many skincare steps when I'm doing makeup reviews, just because I feel like the more I pile on, the more chance there is for things to look funny. So I just went ahead, washed my face in the shower, and then right out the shower I went ahead and applied this Purito Centella Unscented Toner. So this contains 10% Centella Asiatica extract, which helps with skin calming and skin regeneration. I've been using this recently because I ran out of the niacinamide toner from Naturium. For my moisturizer, I went ahead and applied this Naturium Niacinamide Gel Cream 5%. We've got 5% niacinamide in here, which provides a bunch of skin benefits. Most importantly for me, it helps with regulating sebum production, it helps with improving the appearance of hyperpigmentation, and it's just all around a good skin normalizing ingredient. There's also silicone in here, which serves as an occlusive ingredient, which helps lock in the moisture underneath, and it also creates this smooth barrier that helps to blur out the appearance of pores, fine lines, wrinkles, all that, and really help give me a smooth base for nice makeup application. And then once that all soaked in and set, I went ahead and just went over that with some of this Kosei Suncut Aqualy UV Protect Gel. I've just been loving this because it gives you really good sun protection, and this being a Japanese sunscreen has a much better texture and finish than a lot of the American sunscreens I've tried in the past. It doesn't have a greasy or shiny finish. It settles down to a nice satiny skin-like finish on me. So that's it for what I've got going on my face. Now that that's out the way, I'm ready to go ahead and apply this. So according to instructions, it says to shake it well, and then you can apply it either with your fingers or with their full-bodied foundation brush. Normally I like to apply my foundations with a brush. I don't really like to use fingers just because of hygienic reasons. So I am gonna go ahead and apply with a brush. I'm gonna take this Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, which is my go-to foundation brush, and just buff it in that way. And then if for whatever reason it applies streaky or I feel like I need to blend it out a little bit better, I'll just bounce over it with a beauty sponge. But yeah, enough rambling. Let me go ahead and apply the product. So I've got mine here in the shade 10, and according to the website, this is described for medium skin with warm yellow undertones. So I'm just gonna shake it up real quick. All right, now that I've shaken it up a little bit, I'm just gonna go ahead and apply it straight to my skin, and then I'll go ahead and buff it out with the brush. First of all, it feels really nice on the face. It's lightweight. It's almost watery, but it's not runny. It just feels nice and cool on my face, kind of like a setting spray or something. So just this one layer here isn't doing too much in terms of coverage. Not that I expected it to. This is a skin tint. It's supposed to be a more lightweight, light coverage sort of formula. Now, that being said, I'm not expecting it to necessarily cover the active breakouts I have going on, but it did tone down the redness a lot. One layer definitely isn't gonna fully conceal your breakouts or hyperpigmentation, but as far as just evening out the tone of my skin and making it look more cohesive, they did a really good job of that. I'm also really impressed with how skin-like it looks. Like I said, it blended out very easily. I don't see any streaks or brush marks. It didn't skip or anything. It's not looking patchy anywhere. I did have a breakout recently here on my forehead and here on my cheek that recently came to the surface, and they pretty much healed, but they still have a little bit of that texture left behind. And this has smoothed over them. Here, let me show you. I don't know if the camera's gonna catch it, but here on the forehead, and then I also have a spot here on my cheek. The foundation hasn't collected or gathered there at all. That's a problem that tend to have with a lot of other foundation formulas. And just in general, my face looks a lot smoother. I have like a very fine line on my forehead, nothing crazy, but you know, if I stare too hard in the mirror, I do notice it, and it seems to be completely smoothed over here. Here are my cheeks. The pores look a lot smoother and they're not really too visible even up close like this. My chin area as well seems a lot smoother. I do have a little bit of an issue with bumpy skin there at times, especially now that we're wearing masks, and that area seems completely smoothed over. And again, my neck looks really good too. So far I'm really impressed with how one layer finishes. So now I'm gonna go ahead and layer it up because it does say it is sheer to medium coverage. I do just want to see how well it layers and whether or not it's still gonna look the same or better or worse with another layer, and see how much coverage I can really get out of this. Alright y'all, so here's what we're looking like with 2 layers blended out on top. Let me come in a little bit closer so y'all get a better idea and you can see. It does look a little radiant, but it is still setting, so I'll comment on that in a minute after it fully sets. But just looking at this, well, first of all, I want to say, I don't know if y'all noticed from the video, but the second layer did take a little bit longer to blend out smoothly than the first layer. I wasn't really surprised by that. Generally, when you layer foundation, at least in my experience, it does take a little bit longer to blend out the second layer, so I'm not going to penalize it for that. I just wanted to point that out. But in the end, it still did work into a nice skin-like finish. I don't see any brush strokes or patchiness once I, you know, took the time to actually blend it out. With a brush, mind you, I didn't need to go on with a sponge afterwards. Yeah, and my skin just looks really incredibly smoothed over. Even more so, my pores are even less noticeable. As far as the coverage, the second layer did definitely cover up a lot more. If I look really close here, I do still see a little bit of the hyperpigmentation peeking through, especially more of like the darker, more blue tone, purpley tone type of hyperpigmentation, not so much the redness from active breakouts and stuff like that. But from far away, I can't really notice. I have to get up really close to see it, and even then, like, I really have to look at it to notice it. For the most part, it did do a good job of evening out my skin tone. I don't know how it's translating across on camera, but I feel like this did give me really good coverage. It did do a good job of covering everything. It looks nice and skin-like, smoothed everything out. Yeah, I mean, it applied beautifully with a brush, like I said. Really impressed there. I still feel like it needs just a little bit to set, so I'm gonna give it like 5 minutes to completely set, and then I'm gonna come back on camera and see how we're looking once everything's completely settled down. Alright y'all, I sat down and watched the video for a little bit, so it's actually been about more like 15 minutes. The skin tint is really set, and this is what we're looking like. I don't know how it's translating across on camera, but it is a lot less radiant. It's a little bit more satiny and skin-like now, so I feel like it's really set, and just touching it, it doesn't feel tacky at all or wet or anything like that. I don't see any of the product transfer onto my finger. Hopefully this holds up well throughout the day, like I said, because it is supposed to be transfer resistant and long wear, and in the time it's taken to set, it hasn't really settled into any fine lines or anything. It's not emphasizing any texture. I'm really impressed with how this looks with 2 layers built up, blended out on the skin. I'll just come in close one more time so you can get a final look, but this is what everything looks like. I'm really impressed so far. I do just want to do a little bit of a quick beat just to see how this plays with other products, see if it lifts at all when I apply anything on top, and then I'm going to do a time check, and then we'll do a wear test to see how this wears throughout the day and whether or not I think that this is good for oily skin types at the end of a full day's wear. So let me go ahead and finish my makeup off real quick. I'm going to keep it real simple. We're going to stick within the Fenty family today, so I'm going to go ahead and apply a little bit of this Cheeks Out cream blush. This is in the shade Rose Latte. So I'm just going to take a damp beauty sponge and pick up some of the blush with that, and then just bounce it on the high points of my cheek. And then I'm going to take this e.l.f. airbrush stipple brush. I'm going to take this Fenty Stalk'r bronzer. This is in the shade Island Ting. I'm just going to go ahead and bronze my skin up just to kind of tie everything together and give me that natural sun-kissed look. I'm going to go ahead and set my brows real quick with this NYX Bear With Me brow setter. And then I'm just going to go ahead and top my lips off with this Fenty Beauty Pro Kisser Luscious Lip Balm. This is in the shade Latte Lips. So this right here is the finished look. Looking here in the mirror, I really love how everything played together. When I was applying the blush, it didn't lift the skin tint at all underneath, even though I did use a sponge. And again, also when I was applying the bronzer with the brush, even though I was swiping the brush on my skin, it didn't lift the skin tint underneath or disrupt it in any way. I don't see any brush strokes or streakiness. And despite not using a setting powder or anything on top of the skin tint, everything did blend effortlessly. The cream blush and the powder bronzer, everything just looks nice and smooth and meshed together. And even still. It's not emphasizing any texture, fine lines, anything going on. It just looks nice and smooth. All right, so I'll come in close for y'all just so you can see. Again, this is what we're looking like freshly applied. So far I'm really loving this, but that being said, I am going to do a wear test. I am curious if this is oily skin friendly or not. It does make some claims about being transfer resistant, sweat resistant, and long wear, so I do have high hopes for this product, but I do want to see whether or not it actually performs on that end. So we are going to do a full day wear test, and I'll come back and check in with y'all at the end of this review and see whether or not I still have similar opinions on this product after a full day's wear. I just want to do a quick time check. So currently it is around 10:30 a.m. I was so excited to do this review that I went ahead and got a jump start on filming. Y'all know usually by the time I'm doing my check-in, it's around noon time, but we're a little bit early with the check-in today, and I'm really excited to do a full day wear test. I have really high hopes for this product. I got a full day ahead of me. I'm gonna be doing things all day, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do what I gotta do, and I'll come back in a couple hours and update y'all on my final opinions and whether or not I think this is oily skin friendly and whether or not I still feel the same way about this product at the end of a full day's wear. All right, y'all, I'm back to do my final check-in and get my final thoughts on the product. I'm really excited to get into it. Before I do though, I do just want to go ahead and do a quick time check. So currently it is about 6:30 now. So when we did our first check-in, it was like right around 10:30. So it's been about 8 hours, and this is what we're looking like. So I'm gonna go ahead and come in close real quick so y'all can get a look and see what everything looks like up close. So now looking here in the mirror, let's get the obvious out the way. Obviously I'm looking a little bit more oily than I was when I first applied it, but that is to be expected. I am an oily skin type, and especially now with the weather change, it is getting a lot warmer, a lot more humid, so my skin just is producing more oils in general. Honestly though, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I'm looking pretty shiny in the viewfinder, but up close in person, my skin really doesn't look that bad. It looks pretty standard for a foundation after a full day's wear. If you've seen some of my past videos where I do foundation reviews, I generally tend to wear things for about 6 to 7 hours. This is 8 hours, so I wore this for a little longer than I normally would anyways, and I still think it looks pretty good. You know, the shine is there for sure, but it's not as bad as I've seen with some foundations I've used in the past. And also just keep in mind, I didn't use anything as far as a primer or a setting powder or anything like that that's supposed to cancel out the shine. I did moisturize with the Naturium niacinamide gel cream, which does help with controlling sebum production because of that niacinamide, but other than that, I didn't really use anything to help with the oil specifically. So that being said, I actually don't really think that this is that bad. You could go over this with a setting powder, use a mattifying primer, or maybe a combination of both, and you'll probably have better luck in that regard, but I'm not mad at the shine. Now looking at the actual texture, I will say here on the cheeks, my pores are a little bit more visible than when I did apply it, but that being said, again, I've seen formulations that look much worse. I've seen my pores emphasized way more than this. It still does look pretty smooth, especially from far away. I mean, up close, you are gonna notice a lot more of the details, but from far away, when you look at the face holistically, it's still really hard to see that texture. Everything does still look pretty smoothed over. I don't see it settling in the fine lines under my eyes. It's not settling here in my smile lines. We're doing good up here in the forehead area. It's not breaking up. It still looks nice and solid across the whole face. The only area I'm really noticing is right here in between my eyebrows. There is like a tiny little spot here where it has pilled up a little bit, but that's actually an area that was recently an active breakout, and it's currently healing. When my skin heals from a breakout, it tends to get a little flaky. So that's probably just what's going on here. That's just texture issues going on unrelated to the actual foundation. And besides that one area, the entire rest of the skin still looks pretty flawless. Even up here in the forehead, I do have an active pimple right here, and that's still covered up pretty well. It hasn't broken up there at all. I'm also really impressed with the coverage still. It hasn't faded or anything. I did go ahead and walk my dogs a couple times today, and it was pretty warm, so I'm not gonna say I was drenched in sweat, but I was perspiring a little bit, and it held up really well through that, which I did expect it to. It does claim to be sweat, humidity, and transfer resistant, but it really did actually hold up to those claims, and I'm really surprised. This product combines so many elements of a skin tint with so many elements of a longwear foundation, and it kind of just gives you the best of both worlds, and I'm really loving it. So my final thoughts on the product are, this is really good for like a natural no makeup look. It does a really good job if you apply it with a sheer layer, kind of evening out the redness and just giving you a more even complexion in general, and then it does give you the option to build it up. I did get a decent amount of coverage with 2 layers, and it still had a very skin-like finish. Now obviously, like I mentioned earlier, there is still a tiny bit of that hyperpigmentation peeking through, but it's really nothing that would bother me. I'm not really someone that wants like a completely perfect skin look. I'm fine with something that's like 90% of the way there because I don't want to look washed out. It really helps to kind of conceal some of the more undesirable parts of my complexion, like the redness, and it does help to soften the hyperpigmentation as well. But then it also does allow some of my skin, like the freckles I have here on my nose, to really peek through and give me a more natural skin look. It's really comfortable on the face. It's nice and lightweight. It sets down kind of like a moisturizer. I don't feel like I'm wearing any product on top, and then applying other product on top, the cream blush and the powder bronzer, bronzer. Again, everything just meshed together beautifully. It still looks like skin. So that's my final thoughts on this. If you are in the market for a more lightweight foundation, something that's going to give you long wear and that's going to help to blur out your complexion and smooth everything over, I would definitely recommend checking this out. If you are someone with oily skin, I do think that this is okay to use with oily skin. Just, you know, make sure to go ahead and prep your skin with something like a mattifying primer or a setting powder when you're done applying the foundation, just to help control the shine if you're not really a fan of that. But otherwise, I think that this is a nice, comfortable, lightweight foundation for everyday wear, and I'm really excited to see how this performs later in the summer months, because it does make those claims about being sweat and humidity resistant as well as transfer resistant. So I'm really excited to give this a try during the summer months, where I want something a little bit more light, and seeing how it holds up throughout a full day's wear then. If you all want to see an updated wear test on that, let me know down in the comments. But I think I'm going to cut the video off here. So that's it for my review. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I know a lot of people were wondering if I was going to do a review on this, and I definitely was planning on doing it, but then seeing so many people wondering definitely pushed that to the front of my agenda. So I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments what you liked about this video. Let me know what you would have liked to see in this video, if I missed anything. Also, let me know if y'all have requests for me to do reviews on any other products in the future, or just any video requests in general. Be sure to go ahead and leave those down below so I can keep those in mind when I'm sitting down and thinking of things to film. Like I said, if you haven't already, just be sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell button as well, so that you can stay up to date on all my content and get a notification every time I upload. And with that being said, I should be back shortly with new content. Bye.